Our Smittybilt Gen 2 tent came in. We've been using the Gen 1 for about 3.5 years now. Today we're going to do a little bit of a review, look at some repairs, look at some improvements, and I think I have a fix for that annoying flapping noise that's kept us up a couple of nights. Stay tuned. So we really enjoyed our Smittybilt tent. We've had this one here now for 3.5 years. Estimate about 150 nights in our tent, and super happy with it. It's not leaked a drop of water, bugs don't get in. It's actually surprisingly warm, very comfortable. Why did we get a second tent? Well, we took our grandson, and if you've ever slept in a 3-person tent with a 4-year-old child, you know what kind of sleepless night you get. He's awesome to be with, and to bring camping is no problem whatsoever, but toss and turn all night long, several shots to the head. Both the wife and I didn't sleep as good as we wanted. So we decided, we looked at an extra large tent, an XL tent, and realized that, you know, with the 4 of us, because we want to bring the granddaughter, we're back to that cramped space again. Decision was made, let's get a second tent. We can keep our Gen 1 for when we bring the grandkids as a secondary tent, but let's invest in something maybe a little bit better. Let's spend a little bit more money, get something a little bit more quality than the Smittybilt. Not saying that the Smittybilt is not high quality, because it really is, and I'm going to argue it's the best value for the money. So we looked at similar tents, and they were all about $1,000 more, if not $1,500 more. So we looked at higher quality tents, and there is some out there, 4-season tents especially. I'll mention Dave's tent as being one of those, and they are approaching the $5,000 mark. So we kind of sat back and we thought, what do we want to improve on? What do we want that this one doesn't deliver? And really, it suits exactly what we do, so why spend more money? And just in case you're wondering, the hard shell tent, we decided that's not for us. We want the little bit extra space. So we looked back and we thought, well, you know what? The Gen 2 Smittybilt has the skylight, which we would like. It has the improved rainfly, which we're really hoping is going to quieten down that flapping noise. Other than that, we have no complaints, other than the regular stuff like the overhang holds water, big deal, that doesn't bother me. Push the water out, you're good. The mattress, of course, everybody has that same complaint, and some of the Velcro that's coming apart here and there, but those are easy fix. If for no other reason, when it comes down to price versus quality, I believe this one's in a class of its own, definitely the best value. Reasonably priced, not the cheapest, reasonably priced, and the quality's right up there. 2 thumbs up. One day we came off a trail and there was a stick sticking out of the side of the cover of the rooftop tent. Got a little too close to a overhanging deadfall with a branch, and it pierced into the tent. So as a temporary repair, cleaned it up with alcohol and a little bit of Gorilla Tape. And that was 2 years ago. I can't believe that's still on there. I thought that was going to be temporary and I'd find something else to repair it with. I'm happy with that. It can stay there for a while longer. Just like on the Gen 1, we have these Velcro straps to hold the cover down, and they came shipped, just fold over like so, and that's the way we were using them. And this Velcro didn't last. And I see that most people recommend going double through the ring. And I'm not going to lie to you, I find that fairly difficult to work with and to release afterwards. The Velcro sticks, and they're a bit of a fight, so I can see upgrading to the other one. This has worked really well. Just a pull strap, just release it, clip it, super easy. And I even went through the trouble that I added a third one. The tent likes to puff up when we're driving down the road, so this keeps the center down so it's not beating as much on the ladder. Quite simply, to replace the strap, just unscrew the metal bracket underneath, new strap in, screw it back in, super easy. One thing I'm super impressed with is this Velcro. I thought that was going to be one of those points that would wear out quickly, but this Velcro, no complaints, it's holding together really well. And I think the only time I use this strap to hold down the ladder is when I'm going to open it up in the shop like so. Otherwise, we never tie it up. I see a lot of people put the poles inside the tent and they kind of slide all over the place. They're a little bit harder to find. Where we find best place to put the poles, right here. The Velcro on these side straps is doing just fine, no issues there. The problem that we did run into is this zipper for the annex is constantly rubbing on the edge of the strap, it seems, and these actually gave up. They cut through, and I think it's that vibration against the zipper, it cut through the strap. So I replaced it with another piece of strap that I had. Quite simple, just unscrew the little plate retainer, take the strap off, loop it through the D-rings, and we're back in business. So as an improvement to make sure it doesn't happen, I just cut a little plastic lid from a margarine container and added a little bit of protection behind it. You can't tell it's there, but it's going to keep the zipper from rubbing on the strap. So of course we have the extension for the extra height. Doesn't really need it, but it's really nice to have it when we happen to park where there's a hole beside the Jeep and we can use that extension. One problem we ran into is that sometimes we would struggle with getting the ladder to lock down properly, and you step on it and it slips. So one thing that I did is I made the hole a little bit bigger with a 5/16 drill bit, and with a 3/8 I chamfered the edge of the hole. What that did is that when we have the ladder ready to lock, it locks into place right away. Also what I did is I added some extra holes. Makes the adjustment much easier when the ground's uneven. Sometimes it's just a little too steep, it's a little too shallow. The extra holes really help. One tip, don't drill in line with the step. There's a crossbar in the middle. Don't make the same mistake I did. So because when the tent is on Gene's Jeep, we have our awning mounted on the side here. And when we open the window, the awning is actually in the way. So what I've done is I've put just a bit of a kink in the pole so that when we place our pole in its proper location, it gives a little extra clearance for the awning here. And that worked out well. One thing we noticed is not a lot of room for your coat, your sweater, your clothes when you go to bed. So one thing we added is these nets. And all we did was we wrapped a piece of Velcro around, spread them out, put your clothes, put your jacket that hung on the ceiling. This is nice. I think everyone will agree that that 2-inch mattress is firm, it's very nice, but it's not quite enough. Myself, my wife and I are both side sleepers. We find pressure point on our hips, and after a couple days we feel a bit of a sore spot. So it's almost there, but it's an easy fix. 1.5 inch foam topper for your typical bed, that solves the problem of the comfort level, and we don't even put it full length, it's just a part length. And we like to use a moving blanket as a little extra padding and a little bit warmth. Last time we used it was in the fall, so it was a little cooler, and that solves our problem. Improvement on the Gen 2 is the mattress is a little bit thicker. It has a 1/2 inch more. I bet that'll solve the complaints about the mattress. I don't really care much for extras, but I sure like this little light. This works awesome. Just Velcros into place, and I'll never need to take it down again. It's designed to plug in. There's an extension that you would run through the hinge flap and in through your vehicle window or something like that and plug it in so that you have USB power for your light. What we find really handy is these USB battery packs. They work awesome. Just plug it in. Stick it in the pocket and you have ample lighting for the darkest of night. When you're done, ready to go to bed, unplug it, stick it back in the bag. Good night. I think one of the big selling points on the Gen 2 for us was the skylight. With the clear rain cover, allows an incredible amount of lighting into, and who doesn't love looking at the stars on a beautiful summer night when you go to bed? This is going to be worth it. One thing I noticed is the addition of the insulated cover on the poles. That's definitely going to help with that condensation. Those poles in the cooler weather, they're usually dripping with water and quite wet, so this would be nice. All right, for that flapping noise, we've had a couple of sleepless nights where the wind, when it was really windy, the wind gets in, and I don't know how to describe it, but it gets into the rainfly and affects it just a certain way where you get this violent flapping. Something like this. And it's loud, kept us up all night. What we've noticed with the Smittybilt is that the top bar for the rainfly is flat, it's square. And we've noticed Dave's tent, for example, that there's a bit of a more rounded feature to it. So I figured, why not duplicate that? So what I did is I put a curve to these 3 bars that hold the rainfly. I think it did 2 things. One is it put a little bit more tension in the rainfly, which of course it's not open all the way, so you don't really see that. But when it's properly deployed on the Jeep, it's a little tighter. And the other thing it did, I think, is it changed the shape of the rainfly. So instead of being flat, it has a bit more of a curve to it. Now, I'm not sure it's 100% fixed, but it's never happened since. The first year we had it here in Alberta, a couple of times windy situation, it kept us up. And when we went down to Moab, we had a couple of nights that was really windy, and our solution was to remove it completely and we were fine, but can't always do that in Alberta. You can't guarantee it won't rain all night during the night. Last year is when I did this, and I haven't heard that flapping noise since. So I'm pretty happy with that. Cheap tire works good for that. To get the arc in our rainfly, pretty simple. We just have to bend the bar about 2.5 inches in the center. Pretty simple to do. Easiest way is to bend it over something round like a tire. Being careful, of course, because it's aluminum, bends really easy. And when we bend it round, the ends come in a little bit. So we're gonna have to correct that. And we're gonna go about square, but actually we're gonna splay them out just ever so slightly. So you could probably just open those up freehand, but I prefer to put it in the vise. And then we can just give it a little bit of force right on the edge. And we'll put it on a flat surface, check it with a square. And like I said, you want to splay it out just a little bit. A little bit of a curve, changes the shape, tightens it up a little bit, seems to handle that flapping noise. There we have it, Gen 1, Gen 2. This one's gonna go on my Jeep. This is gonna be our secondary tent from here on in, anytime we bring the grandkids, of course. And Gen 2 is gonna be our mainstay. Really looking forward to see how it performs and how it holds up, and I'm sure it'll be just as good and probably better than Gen 1. Thanks for watching.